What we do is our free will. Any sin that we act upon, it's us doing what we wanted to do. So Ravati will break down all of the social barriers and make you feel okay about doing it, and that's how you come to know what you're made of. Revati Nakshatra is the last of the nakshatras. So it is the one you come to after you've gone all the way through the other ones and you've had all of the possible experiences that you can have. Then what happens? In Revati, you wake up from the dream and realize you're dreaming. So the world becomes your playground because you realize it's just a dream anyway. The symbol is a fish floating in the ocean, swimming, 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 and there are no boundaries in the ocean. The shape of the constellation is a drum that would be used by a shepherd or another keeper of animals that the animals would hear and know to come back. And here's the point of the energy. Although the fish has a path, how do you know your path in the water? Just like if you were on a spiritual journey in this world, the regular worldly markers that show you your progression aren't present. So how people make sense of their progress in the material plane is different than how you make sense of your progress on a spiritual plane. Revati is housed entirely in Pisces. Pisces is between two worlds. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, which is delusion, dreams, imagination, the dissolving of boundaries, so that you were in the infinite. And the nakshatra is ruled by Mercury, which represents skill, mastery over magic and mysticism. So Revati is about waking from the dream and realizing that it is a dream and that you have full power to direct your consciousness in any way you want, and that you have full control over everything around you. You have nothing more to achieve, and frankly, even creation, it's just the rearranging of what's already there, so you can test things, you can maneuver things, you can move them around, and it's the full experience in having all of these experiences without having attachment to the experiences, because after all, it's just a dream. Revati is about nourishment, and it's a very gentle, soft, loving kind of nakshatra. But there are different ways to help you grow. Loving, nourishing, guiding, teaching in a nice way is one way to do it. And Revati expresses that way. Revati also expresses in some other ways. Because Revati is between the two worlds, Revati natives aren't really interested in the mundane world. So they don't want to talk with you about your kids and the grocery store and your shoes. They want to connect with you for real. Normally, in the material realm, people are trying to find small talk and they're trying to find these small ways to find a reason to connect. Revati's not interested in that. If you want to connect, you connect for real. If you want to talk about something for real. They only want to engage with higher levels of thought. Small talk, they're interested in something real, something substantial. Not everybody can take that. So in a social circle, not everybody can take that. Because Revati also likes to play with people, they also have a good time when they bring chaos into a situation. Not for any other reason except to bring chaos, just to see how people act, just to see how they respond, how they deal with it. It's a really sexual nakshatra because they're not attached, they're just having experiences. So this is, for example, if you're in a social setting and there is a girl who just goes and tries to steal people's husbands, not because she wants them, not because she wants anything, she just does it for fun, just to see if she can get it. And everybody knows what's going on, and everybody's just standing around watching this, and they're watching the man who she's targeting, and the wife is uncomfortable, everybody else is really uncomfortable watching this. She's just screwing with you. She's just seeing what you'll do. She doesn't really even want to go through with it. And then on the husband's part, everyone's just watching him. This is how Revati tests, because she can do that, but he doesn't have to go through with it. But in that way, when you get tested in a taboo situation, the dissolution of barriers, there doesn't seem to be anything holding you back. You see what you're made of. You see what choice you would really make. And that's what is fun for Revati. That's what they're interested in seeing you do. And frankly, even the decision that you make isn't of interest to them. They just want to see what you do. Her below. If you have never seen her stuff, please go watch her videos on nakshatras. I use her research a lot in my information. She also talks about, for example, how the men, still there's this very sexual element to them, and they're really playful, but they're playful in a way like you don't know what they're up to. So it's playful, but then it's kind of scary because you never really know what they're doing and you don't really know what they're going after. But it's fun and they'll take you for a little bit of a ride, but it's weird. So some examples of that are the Joker, Rumpelstiltskin, the scary albino guy. But these are all Revati natives. And what you find out is Revati natives play Revati roles. And of course, the casting director doesn't know that, but you find that these people, they're actually playing out these roles that are characteristics of their nakshatras. So again, like really cold and unrelatable. You can't guess their motives. I mean, like, look at the Jokers. You can't, like, you're going to negotiate with him. What do you think he's interested in? You think you can find out what that is? And then there's this Rumpelstiltskin character. He's on his own agenda. You don't even know what he's doing, but he's on his own agenda. Again, all Revati natives, all Revati ways. Sometimes they have something in mind, but usually they just like to mix it up, just for fun. So with the women, they like to go into these taboo situations and test their power, like just to see what they can get, just to see what happens, just to see if the guy will go along with it. A Revati native that's very famous is Angelina Jolie. So the two men she married, Billy Bob Thornton and Brad Pitt, they were already married when she met them. So she's considered a husband stealer, but again, think about it. They didn't have to go through with it. They didn't have to leave their wives. They didn't even have to be susceptible to the flirtation. That's her energy, but they responded to it. That was their choice. So we always want to blame somebody for what happened because they seduced us, because they brought us along. Doesn't work like that. What we do is our free will. Any sin that we act upon, any taboo that we act upon, anything we act upon, it's us doing what we wanted to do. And the reason that we didn't do it in another situation is because we didn't have the opportunity to do it in another situation. So Revati will break down all of the social barriers and make you feel okay about doing it. They give you the opportunity. They don't give you any restraints. They give you free reign. Just see what you do. And that's how you come to know what you're made of. So in a spiritual sense, the parameters that we normally go with, which again, mark our journey in a worldly way, we don't have those in a spiritual life. So how do you keep the guideposts? How do you keep aligned with what you're doing? This is how Revati tests you. You're going from one world, you're going from the material realm into the spiritual realm. And when you are on that road, you accumulate different experiences and you come to accumulate different abilities and you have different powers. So your ability to progress spiritually is based on what you can handle. And as you're transitioning from one world to the next, Revati tests you to see what you can handle. There are two different ways to acquire wealth. One is for personal gain, one is for collective gain. The personal gain, this you'll find in Jyeshta Nakshatra. This is the way of political maneuvering, outsmarting your enemies, using espionage and different information to get where you're needing to go, to manipulate other people for power. And this is all for personal gain. The other way to do it is you drink milk, you take care of animals, you take care of children, you care for things, you nurture things. And in turn, those things come to care and nurture for the next generation. So you have personal gain or collective gain. Revati is about collective gain. Intelligence is knowing what you need and getting where you need to go. So for Revati Nakshatra, you're resourceful, you are a person who finds the means, and you don't get lost. You are a person who finds the path. Devotion. This means being gentle, caring, loving, generous. Taking care of the things that bring you wealth. Taking care of your family. Taking care of your children. Taking care of those friends, those relationships. The things that enrich you and allow you to be what you need to be. Don't neglect those. Take care of those. Water those. Love those. Feed those. Some people will be spiritual for a lifestyle. So they'll wear the stuff, they'll talk the words. But when you look at their personal life, that looks different to what they profess to be. Because spiritual lifestyle and spiritual life are very different. When you have a spiritual life, you understand that what you care for, who you care for, how you care for things, people, situations, those expressions of nurturing, those expressions of generosity are actually the expressions of your spirituality. It's not a thought, it's an action. According to this energy, there's nothing more important than taking care of your children. There is nothing more important than nurturing what's around you so that you have a future. And in terms of societal interaction, and collective good and good for humanity, which is what a spiritual path is about, you take care of what's around you. You do the role you're supposed to do. You come to understand that spirituality is not sitting in your room reading things. It's the way that you live, and it's the expressions that you outwardly display so that other people watching you know who you are. This is another element of Revati, is that your presence changes people. So the fourth element is beauty, and beauty comes from nourishment. Beauty is a sign of health. If you are nourished, you are healthy. If you are healthy, you are beautiful. Think of the times when you laugh the easiest. Think of the times when you are in the best mood. Think of the times when you're the most help to other people. Are you tired? Are you hungry? No. You're rested. You feel well loved. You feel supported. You feel nourished. This is the fourth element. So again, the deity Pushan, he's a nurturer, a caregiver, a protector. And the Shakti, the power to nourish, is what you have available in this energy. And that is, if you haven't had these things available to you, if people didn't nourish you, if situations didn't nourish you, your family, your home life, the friend circles that you've had, the professional networks that you had, how you move forward is your decision. What has happened, and it's to bring you to where you are now, but how you progress, that's up to you. And that's the lesson. Saturn does not exist. They say Saturn is born in Revati. So it means if you're going to break that cycle of what was not given to you, to stop and make the choice to still give that to yourself and give that to others, what it requires is a great deal of willpower and a great deal of intention. So you do these things. You are gentle, you are generous, you are caring, you are devotional, not because you don't know how to be sly, not because you don't know how to be political, not because you don't know how to maneuver other people to get what you want, but because that's not your path anymore. Your path is to be kind, is to be gentle, is to nurture. If your path is for humanity, take care of humanity. And that begins with you, and that begins with the people close to you. That is expressed. It's not this big idea like you have to take it out into the world. You can't take anything out into the world that you aren't doing in your own life. So that's what the energy is having you look at. What you need to nurture in your own life, and what situations that aren't nurturing you, where it's time to draw a boundary. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This Revati energy is happening in your 11th house. And your 11th house is the house of your friends, your networks, your associations, all the people you hang out with by choice, and how you are presenting in a worldly sense, like internet, social media, but you're there because you want to be. And you're part of these groups because you choose to be. So the moon is there, Mercury's there, Mercury's in water, so there's something happening that's very unclear. You're not really sure what's going on. Or there could be something hidden from you. Also, Venus is there. So you have your attention there just now. And what you're paying attention to is supposed to be what you love. It's not always what you love, but it's what you're paying attention to. Now that's squared by Pluto in your 8th house. And your 8th house is your house of transformation. And Pluto is the planet of transformation. So you're looking at control, power, secrets, transformation, and it's squaring what you're paying attention to. So there might be something going on with your friends that you don't know about. There could be some weird subplot happening. So pay attention to what's going on around you. Now also, 11th house is across from 5th house. So the 5th house is your house of fun. It's your house of pleasure. So your house of pleasure across from your house of friends. So pleasure, creativity, what you're bringing into the world, and then who you are around, the groups and associations you belong to, and what you're doing in the public eye. Are those things taking you in the direction that you want to go? So the two things to ask yourself, Are you getting what you need in terms of, is it healthy for you? Are you being nourished by it? Is it serving your intellect? And is it taking you where you need to go on your spiritual path? Are these people, are these situations, are these groups that you are happy to be known for? If somebody looked at them, would you like them to speak for you? That's how you can always tell who you should be around or not be around, based on if nobody knew you, they just knew the people you hung out with. Does that group represent you? So Pluto in your 8th house is significant here because that's some serious transformation. And that transformation is being squared by what's going on in your 11th house. So it's really having you look at who you are around and what are your hopes and wishes and where are you going? What are you putting into the world, 5th house? Who are you around? Who are you associating with, 11th house? And how are you transforming, 8th house? So is what you have taking you on your spiritual journey? Is that what you're supposed to be doing? Is this what you intend to do? Do you have what you need, and are you going in the direction you're going? If not, the purpose of this energy is to call attention to it and to make changes so that you are on the correct path and you do have what you need. So as we step into this 2 weeks, the energy of the last full moon, we made the decision to step out into the unknown and to give things up. And we made space, even though we don't know what's coming. We still had the faith, we still had the belief to give up what doesn't belong there so that we can step forward. But we did it without any promise of what was going to show up. This card is about a portal. So we're stepping into something else. Currently, we are between two worlds, and we're watching what's playing out around us. But we're watching it now without attachment. So even though we have Pluto squaring Venus, it's not like the painful things that we were going through back in January, where we're watching our relationships fall apart. Now, everybody is going to do what they're going to do. And our job is to sit back and watch how the things play out. You know how to conduct yourself in these situations, but what people ultimately decide to do is their choice. So how you interact, you can interact, but you don't need to have any type of sense of control, like you're needing to orchestrate anything. Watch it play. So however things turn out in the next few weeks, then you know how to make your moves. But in this meantime, we still have Mercury in Pisces. We're in a Pisces sun. We're in Pisces nakshatra. Everything is Pisces. So that means everything is watery. Everything is still moving and nothing is solid yet. Watch what happens. You keep your devotion. You keep on what you're about. You keep on your path. Pay attention to the things around you that you need to nurture. Take care of what takes care of you, especially you, right? But take care of the people, take care of the situations, take care of the groups. And the ones that don't take care of you, why are you still there? But why are you still there? Take care of what takes care of you.